Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 things that I wish I knew before starting to play Warframe. So without further ado guys, let's just get right into today's video. So the first thing is, once you start the game, you are going to get access to 50 platinum. What that is the premium currency within this game. You can use plat to get absolutely anything. And I'm going to be giving you a little bit of advice on what to do with the first 50 that you obtain. So if you press escape or pause and go into your equipment and go into your inventory, you are going to see your inventory, of course, but your inventory won't have as many things as mine does in it. So what I would recommend is going over to the Warframe tab over here. And over here, as you can see, I have a bunch of different Warframes, but as a beginner you may only have the one that you start with. So what I would recommend is buying one Warframe slot for 20 plat over here and pressing purchase, and then you will have a Warframe slot. I already have 9, so I'm not going to purchase it here, but having one Warframe slot is going to give you another Warframe once you can get it, and will open up some options. And then carrying on with that, you're going to want to buy 2 of the weapon slots over here. So initially I think you only start with 3 weapon slots or 6, I cannot remember, but you're going to want to buy 2 of them. So over here, confirm quantity, and then you're just going to want to grab 2 and then press purchase. So that's going to be 44 out of 50 of your plat already gone, but believe me guys, it's going to be for the right cause. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the next thing that I wish I knew, which was the star chart. Now when you go over to your navigation and you see a bunch of planets, a bunch of missions on each planet, you're probably wondering what all of these are and why are they here. So my tip here is to complete the entire planet. And I know that a lot of people may have started the game just to try out the open world, which is Cetus or Plains of Eidolon, but you're going to want to skip over that and head over and complete every mission on the planet, just because it's going to help you out significantly later when you start playing the game. Once you go through every single planet on the game, you unlock a mode called Steel Path. What that is the entire solar system again, except the levels are a lot higher and you get a lot more reward. It's a lot more reward back out of the missions. So as you can see over here, you're more enemy health, armor and shield, but you get 100% resource drop chance and 100% more mod drop chance, meaning you're going to get significantly better rewards. To unlock the Steel Path, as I said, you have to complete the entire star chart. So my first actual main goal I would say for you to set is to complete every mission on a planet before you move on. So from Earth you go down to Venus and then go over to Mercury, and once you finish that you go back over to Earth and then you head up towards Mars. From Mars you head over to Ceres, and then from Ceres you can keep going to Jupiter, to Saturn. You get my gist with the planets. But my main tip here is to go over and complete every single mission on every single planet before you head on to the next. This may seem boring to you at first, and I know, I get it, but it is going to help you out and it is worth it. The reason I said skip over all of the open world stuff is because you're going to come back to them later, and obviously when you're later in the game you can get a lot more out of it, a lot more faster. Trust me guys, it's for the best. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is getting new Warframes. So as I said, purchase a slot at the beginning. When you go through these planets, you're going to have a boss fight on every single planet. So for example, let's talk about Venus over here. The first planet you unlock, you have a fight over here called the Fossa. The target is the Jackal, and you can get the Warframe Rhino from here. I'm going to link it in the chat just so that you guys can have a look at it. So Rhino is a Warframe with some very good abilities. The first one being Rhino Charge, which is just a dash. The second one being Iron Skin, which basically gives you a lot more armor, and it will protect you for as long as the ability is active. Third one is Raw, which is a boost for your weapons and other abilities, and the last one is Rhino Stomp, which just sends the enemies flying, and you are able to kill them a lot easier. For new beginners, I do recommend farming this fight until you get the Rhino Neuroptics, the Rhino Chassis, the Rhino System, and the Rhino Blueprint, and building the Rhino Warframe. It may cost quite a fair bit of resources, and I understand, But this Warframe is one of them frames that you can take to the end of the game if you really want to. And it is a very solid Warframe as a choice after all. After you start getting through the planets, you have access to this lovely little tab over here on the side of your ship called Nightwave. So what Nightwave is a bunch of really good rewards by simply doing challenges. For example, I've scanned 20 out of 25 objects, but then you get standing. Every time you max out a level, you will get a nice reward. So for the first one, you get 150 credits, which if you look in this credit store offering here, can allow you to get a Warframe. Orokin Catalyst, which allow you to double the mod capacity on your weapons. Orokin Reactors, which let you double the capacity on your Warframes. Kuva, which is a later game resource. Again, Nightain, another later game resource. You can buy some aesthetic items and you can buy some skins. And then you can buy a few mods and a few weapons over here too, which is mostly what you're going to want to use Nightwave for. And as you go up throughout the game, the challenges do get they do get a bit harder, to be completely honest. But you can get Formers, which are a reward. You can get Orokin Catalyst as a reward. You can get Arcanes as a reward. You can get mods as a reward. And, you know, you get the gist. You can get some very good rewards. Like, for example, this Arcane Energize is an amazing reward. So is a 3-pack of Formers. Umbral Former, again, another later game item, which will come in handy. And a skin for a Necromech, which you, again, will end up getting later in the game. So on top of that, I'm going to talk about another thing which you can passively do, which is Syndicates. Syndicates are basically just factions which you can pledge to, and we don't really care about them too much, but they offer you rewards. So for example, you can get a ton of mods from every single syndicate. You can get a few weapons from from each of the syndicates, and you can get some emotes, some adapters and some other stuff, but you are able to get relics and stuff like that from here as well. And Syndicates is something you pledge to, so over here you just press your pledge, choose whichever one you want, and you level them up. The level up does cost a reward, so let's say for example it might cost you 1 prime part that you have, and a few credits, and then you level up. But once you get these Syndicates to level 5, it is 100% worth it, and you can get quite a lot of reward back out of it. So moving on to the next thing that I would say is going to be the equipment. So as you know, you have 3 main things. You've got your Warframe, your weapons, and your melee weapon. So for the primary weapon, obviously you're not going to have all of these when you start the game, but there are some good choices for early on in the game. For example, you can buy the Braton like so. You can also pick it up in the tutorial and other stuff and other weapons, but obviously you know you're not going to use them for the entire game. So what I recommend is going over to the market, going over to weapons, and over here you will see a bunch of different weapons. My personal recommendation would be the Boltor. So you would simply just buy the blueprint over here. Once you're master rank 2, you know, that's something you can very easily do. Purchase the Boltor, and even the crafting requirements aren't crazy, and this weapon is quite effective. For the secondary weapon, it is the same story, except you can have a look at what's over here, and you can head into a different weapon. The Kunai, again another starting weapon that you can just buy for 15,000 credits, but there are other weapons over here that I do recommend. The Sonic Ore is quite a cool one, which again you can just simply buy the blueprint. It does require an Argon Crystal and some Oxium, so you know you can get these resources from specific planets, but guys, there are chats over here to help you out. Leading on to that, the chats was the next thing I was going to talk about. So like I said, you might need some Argon Crystals and you might need some Oxium. So in the Q&A chat, you can ask some things such as where to find Oxium, where to find Argon Crystals, and people who are also playing the game can give you advice if they know. There is a recruiting chat as well, so you can ask people to help you in there too, and they can take you to which other missions in the game and help you grab resources. The next thing I was going to talk about is the modding. Now, there's a ton of mods. Do not get me wrong, there's like over 10,000 mods in this game. There are an insane amount of combos that you can create, but I just wanted to go over the few main mods that I think a new player would need. So, You can get an aura mod for your Warframe. You might not have them at first, so it's okay if you don't have any mods that fit in this top slot over here. It's perfectly fine. Do not worry about it. As I said, that you can put an Orokin reactor into your Warframe to double the slots. Normally it would be 30 and up it goes to 60 because I have that reactor installed. So as you can see, these mods have these little symbols in the corner: a Madurai symbol, a Varazin symbol, a Naramon symbol, a Zenurik symbol, and the Umbra one comes later in the game, so you don't need to worry about that. So as you can see, these symbols match in the corner. Continuity is a mod that you do get early in the game, and it is a mod that I would 100% recommend grabbing if you're a new player. And we're going to go over upgrading the mods too. So continuity is one of them mods. Another one of the mods I believe is Intensify, which increases ability strength. This one increases duration. This one increases strength. Another one that you will end up finding is Stretch. So Stretch increases your Warframe's ability range. And then last but not least, you want to increase your ability efficiency. So that's going to be the Streamline mod. Now you can see these mods are taking up quite a bit of capacity, and they are high levels, so like level 9 and level 11. That's not actually the level, that's just the capacity they take within the mod, within the Warframe, sorry. So if you look over here, there's a tab called mods, and over here you are able to upgrade your mods using a system known as the Endor system. So over here you have different mods. I'm just going to put on a unupgraded version of the mod just so I can show you what I mean. So for example, with continuity, this is a system that does take a bit of getting used to and a bit of understanding before you can start using it properly. So guys, if you do need help on that, do feel free to look up a guide to understand it completely. But you can fuse your mods to make them more effective. For example, this is taking 4 slots on your Warframe and is only adding 5% duration. But if you go over here and enhance it using Endor, it costs 930 Endor and 44,000 credits. Apply the fusion and boom, it's now going to add 30% duration to your Warframe. There is a prime version of this mod, so you know there are better versions and other things that you can add in the game, but you'll understand them more as you play the game. And these mods do help the abilities. So for example, as you can see over here, if I hover over the first mod on this Warframe, you can see that my range has gone up, my duration has gone up, and the damage a second has gone up. So these mods do help your Warframe, and these 4 mods are basically the 4 beginning mods that I recommend to a lot of players. Adding on to that, Floor is another one of them mods, which can increase the amount of energy your Warframe has. And there's 2 more mods. One of them is Vitality. So Vitality, if you were to have it at level 0 and match the symbol, whenever you pick a mod up, there will be a little symbol in the corner, and if it matches, it just ends up taking half the capacity. So if I move it over here, it's taking 2. If I move it into the green one, it's taking 1 capacity. So this adds health to your Warframe, and leveling this up can get quite expensive and cost quite a lot of Endor. So don't worry about that too much if you can't level it up to max, but just do what you can in order to help your Warframe. So as you see over here, it adds health on. If I was to get a max version, it adds 440 health, which if you look in the corner over there, shows my Warframe's health is now 740. And then there is a redirection, which adds shield onto your Warframe. So obviously yours won't be maxed out, so again, leveling it up will eventually allow it to add 440 shield capacity. And this Warframe Revenant does have a lot of shield already, so you know it's going to help you out over there. And then the last mod would be Steel Fiber. So again, you get a lot of these, and don't worry if you end up having to put it in a slot where the symbol doesn't match. So I'm going to move Stretch over there, and there you go. Now I've got more armor on my Warframe as well. As far as beginners go, these 8 mods are the ones that I recommend the most, just because they help out a lot at the beginning of the game, and even as you upgrade them, they become very useful for later in the game. Now I'm going to give a little bit of an explanation for the modding system, which is otherwise known as the Endor system. So the system, it goes that you can get Endor, which is a resource, and you can use it to upgrade your mods. So like I said, it costs Endor and it costs credits. As you can see over here, I've only got 20 Endor. I'm very far into the game. but Endor comes and goes with the more mods that you upgrade, and you can get Endor through sculptures that you can find in missions, or you can get them from dissolving mods. So let's say, for example, I've been playing this game a lot and I have 114 of this scavenge mod. If I was to confirm it, I can dissolve this into Endor and spend that on, let's say, upgrading the floor mod, so something else. You can recycle Endor like that, and some mods cost more, some mods cost less. It just goes to show how strong the mod is and how much it does. But that is the beginning of the mod system. And another tip that I wanted to give, I believe I'm going over 10 now, so you know, this video should be called 11 things that I would recommend to a Warframe beginner, is these relics. So you are going to get a bunch of random relics from doing things in the game, like completing a mission, let's say a spy mission, or a capture mission, a defense mission, or a survival mission. What these relics are prime parts. So a lot of the weapons in the game do have a prime counterpart, and you'd have to get all of the blueprints for them in order to build them. So let's say, for example, over here, the Bratton Prime, Former Prime, Octavia Prime, which is a Warframe, Harrow Prime, Inaros Prime, which is a Warframe, sorry, and Karis Prime Blade, which is a part for a weapon. So the relics, what you do is you open them in missions known as Void Fissures. So over here on your navigation, there are missions over here that you can do to open up these relics, but you only get these missions once you've done the actual mission. So let's say this one's on Earth, as it says over there. That mission on Earth is of what was it called? E Prime on Earth. So E Prime is this mission over here. I've done this mission, so I have access to this mission to do it again, but with a fissure. So you do that, you open the relic and you get the reward inside, and then that is the rest of that. And it will help out if you decide to run several of them and get different rewards. When running these relic missions, it's advised to go in public. So over here, if you go up here, you can change your lobby settings, and I always advise going on public because you can find other people who are similar level to you and someone who can help you. And over here, when you're in a mission, you've got a little chat. So if you're on PC, which some people may be, some people may not be, you can type in the chat and have a conversation with the person as you're playing. Obviously, be careful and try not to down. So, you know, prioritize the game first and then your conversation second. But guys, that has been my 10 or 11 odd tips for beginners to begin playing Warframe. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and if anyone needs any help, feel free to drop a comment, or if you're on PC, feel free to add me in the game. My account name is n.__, and I will help you as much as I can. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Anything you need to know, drop it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.